Alright, Mitiga, Pudrina Wunya, you go na Awabakal People. Hello friend, good to see you. Today I'm on Awabakal country. I'm here in Munmora State Conservation Area down at the Tea Tree Picnic area, and today I'm going to talk to you about what camera gear I use when it comes to filming all my videos. Now obviously I can't show you the two cameras that I'm using at the moment, but I will give you a look at those shortly. Now I mentioned in last week's video, when I gave you a look at the belt that I use when it comes to hiking, I showed you that there was another little green pouch in there, and I said that that was camera gear related. So I'll give you a look at that one to start off with. So in the front pocket, where in the other kit I've got my compass, I've got a black little pouch with a few SD cards in it. Now I've got a few for different reasons. See, that is what my Canon takes, which you'll get a look at that shortly. I've got a much bigger one in there, so I generally don't need to use it. The micro SDs are what the cameras that I'm using at the moment take, and a couple of my other cameras. And then I've got the standard SDs, which I do have one other camera that takes a standard SD. Plus I've got these adapter ones with more micro SDs in there as well. So I've got plenty of storage for when it comes to all my videos and things like that. However, I don't just keep everything on SD cards. So I will give you a look at how I store my footage in that later as well. In the front zipper pocket, I've got a whole heap of little baggies. Now, no, I'm not a druggo. I use these little baggies along with that little scoop, and a lot of the different places I go to, I'll collect a few different baggies of sand or soil from the area, gravel, whatnot might be around there. And when I get home, I'll put them into little glass jars, as you can see on the screen now. And as you can see, I get the different little layers from the areas that I've been to, and it's just a little keepsake thing for me. I know they say, you know, leave nothing but footprints, take nothing but memories. A little bit of soil here and there, it's not going to do a lot of damage. And then I've got a charger and a spare battery for the Canon EOS that I use. So, generally, I've always got one battery completely fully charged and one in the camera. So if worse comes to worse and I start running a little bit low in battery power, I've always got that one fully charged. In the back pouch here, this is where everything bloody lives and it becomes an absolute mess. In the back pouch, a couple of USB cables. There's a micro USB and a USB C to C. So micro USB A to micro and C to C on that one. The cameras I'm filming on now, which are the DJI Osmo Action 3s, they run the USB-C. Little microfiber cloth for cleaning. A USB-C to A adapter, so that I can utilise, for example, if I need to plug this one to charge some of my other cameras into the battery packs for the DJIs, I can do that. And yeah, I can plug a few different things in that way. So carry that. I've got a few cotton tips, and that along with the microfiber cloth, and there's a little brush in here somewhere, if I can get to it. That's for cleaning the lenses and things like that, especially with the Canon EOS. Being a mirrored camera, they're a little bit fiddly. So yeah, I tend to keep cleaning equipment in there. And then I've got 4 little rechargeable, actually they're not even rechargeable, they're just alkaline AAA batteries, and that's what I use in the recorder that I'm using here, which I'll give you a better look at that shortly. Lastly in here, I've got a few which they don't want to come out. If I can get them out. Stuff it. I've got a few little battery packs. I want to be a mongrel to get out, but again, that's what the cords are for, and that way I can charge things up and whatnot off them if I need to. To be honest, I don't even know if they are charged. I haven't had to use them, so, and now that I've got so much USB in the car, I really don't need to carry them. But if it's on a hike, and if I want to do a multi-day hike or something like that, then they would probably come in very handy. So yeah, that's the other little green pouch that I carry on the hiking belt from the video that you saw last week. That's what I keep in there, and it's all camera related stuff, batteries and things like that. There's also some extra batteries in there which I didn't pull out for the little orange Fujifilm camera, a little waterproof one, and it's one of the ones I used to use all the time for underwater shots, and it's not a bad little one just to easily throw them in my pocket and do a couple of photos and things like that when I'm out on the trail, rather than having to lug the big EOS around. I do generally take that EOS with me though. So I put that one aside. Now this is where everything else lives. So you see me carrying this on a lot of my videos, in particular the Abbots Falls walking trail from a few weeks ago, where I actually used some of the paracord. So I'll give you a look around the bag first. On my grab handle, bottom handle there, I've already utilised the one off the bottom here, and on carabiner and that there, I've got crap loads of paracord. You saw me in the Abbots Falls video where I utilised some of that paracord to actually lift my bag up in between the rocks rather than me having to try and climb up. I've also utilised some of it for stringing out the tarp and things like that when I've been out. For example, in the Jamboree video from earlier this year, where I said I slept in the hammock for a night, well, it's this paracord that I used to string out the tarp and everything there. On this side, I've got a little custom holder, which you see me walking around all the time in the videos with my drink bottle shoved in there. Makes it easy hanging it on that carabiner there, nice and easy, so I can just grab it and have a drink. Everything is connected, all the paracord and everything are all connected with carabiners. They just come in so handy for different things. On the front, I've got another little one there that will clip shut, and then some bigger ones there, which I had the first aid kit in that Abbots Falls video hanging off the larger carabiners, as well as going through the mole pouches, just for that extra security. In this front pouch, which obviously isn't in there at the moment, my microphones. So you can see the little lapel mic on my shirt there. That came in a twin pack. Now I custom painted the case, I got bored. But it's a little twin pack. You've got 2 transmitters and 1 receiver. Now I utilise... Oh, that's turned off on me. Damn you! That battery must be actually dead. Oh. And I use this little audio recorder, which is actually just turned off on me. So fortunately the DJI cameras have got good audio. Because that one's not going to be working. Battery must be dead on it finally. But yeah, I utilise that and record all my audio to that. When I'm using the microphones, I don't use the microphones all the time. So it's a great little kit. Cost me around about $100 on eBay. And then a mate of mine, Jeff Davies, he's one of the organisers of Surf, Sand and Cars. He bought a new set and they trashed it in transit. The whole thing was, like the whole pack was just crushed. He got a bit pissed off obviously and got his money back for it. So one of his transmitters is stuffed, but he gave me the whole pack. So I've actually got another receiver and I've got another transmitter if I want to do a third person using the mic. However, I've only got one at the moment to be able to plug into there. So I can only use 2 mics going through there. There is also an option. It's an optional cable, which I believe is this one here, where I can plug it directly into these DJI cameras and I can record that way. However, I haven't had the best results sound-wise there. It's got a couple of extra little foam covers. There's another mic in there, a few other USB cables for charging and all that sort of stuff as well. So, great little case. Nice, pretty solid case. Like the ones that Jeff got where they crushed them, must have been a lot of force. Like they've run over them with a forklift or something. Because a lot of force had to go into that to actually crush them. They're actually metal or alloy, so it's got to have had a lot of force to actually cause them the damage that it did. So that's the microphones. Cameras, I'll give you a look now and swing cameras around to give you a look at what I'm actually using. Alrighty, so let's get up in your face. Yeah, there we go. So it's the DJI Osmo Action 3. I'm using 2 of them and I've got 128 gig micro SD cards in them. These cameras have been absolutely brilliant. I absolutely love them. They film in 4K up to I think 120 FPS. Image stabilization in them is brilliant. Horizon leveling and balancing, and that's brilliant when you want to utilize that. Image quality, I think, is amazing. Absolutely love them. From the comparisons I've seen and everything, they shit all over a GoPro. So hopefully the wind noise now isn't getting too much for you. That's the only downside, is they do cop a bit of wind noise, because I can't put a little rubber or a little foam thing over the top of it. So bit bummed that bloody stopped. Okay, in the next part of this bag, so as I said, the mics all live in the front part. In the next part is the Canon EOS 400D. Now this is generally the camera I use. You see it hanging around my neck when I'm going on hikes and things like that. Well, it's big, it's bulky, it's cumbersome. That's why my other little one is good just to throw in your pocket when you're doing a walk. But I think the photos out of this speak for themselves. They're a heap better than what the other ones are. Again, Jeff actually gave me this. The same bloke that gave me the mics actually gave me this because he wasn't using it and he had no charger and battery for it. So eBay for a couple of batteries and a charger, and it's a bloody great camera. It is interchangeable lenses. It is a full DSLR camera. And I find a lot of people use the DSLRs doing this style of content for all their filming, or a lot of their filming. The problem I find with that is if I drop this and knock the mirror out of whack, the camera's stuffed. So that's why I don't understand why everybody wants to go for this sort of thing. I can understand if you're a big guy like Ronnie Dahl or maybe Aussie Arvos and things like that, but for me, I really don't understand why people utilise something this big and bulky and cumbersome. You can get some great shots with them, no doubt, but I can get some bloody amazing shots with these DJIs as well. So, but that's my photo camera more than any other camera. All the photos that you guys can get through Patreon for as little as $4 a month, all the desktop wallpapers and that I've taken are done with that camera normally. Now coming into the back of the bag, this is the good part because it does open all the way up. I have selfie stick for the DJIs, the underwater selfie stick and housing for the DJIs. Now the DJIs are waterproof as they are, so generally I don't have to worry, but if I'm going into salt water or if I want to go a bit deeper, then I'll utilise the housing. If it's salt water, I'll definitely utilise the housing because I don't want the cameras going into that. That's all accessories. I'll give you a better look at that in a second. So this is the camera I was talking about. It's just good to throw in your pocket. A little Fujifilm tough camera. It films in 1080p 60 FPS, and I used to use this occasionally in my videos before buying the DJIs, and that was about the time of or before the transition from mixed wheel drive touring over to on country. I used to utilise this one a reasonable amount, but more so again it was for photos and quite often underwater videos and that, because it was just easier. For the DJIs, I bought the adventure pack. So I bought one normal camera and one adventure pack, and that comes with obviously the selfie stick, comes with some additional magnetic quick release clips that the DJI utilise, and it came with 2 extra batteries in this little pouch. This pouch is brilliant. I can use that in place of those other battery packs that I showed you, the little power banks. I can actually utilise this in place of them by plugging the USB-C into there and whatever else coming out the other way. And that will power everything that I want to power. So it will actually charge all my other cameras, it will charge my microphones, things like that, and it will slowly drain individual battery at a time. So it doesn't charge them all at one go. It will charge one, then come to the next, so on, so on. Charging, it does charge all of them in one, and in all honesty, it takes bugger all time to charge them. These are absolutely brilliant. I think DJI have really thought out their gear when they've done that. And then I've got the old Sony action cams. I've got the AS15, which is that one, and the AS20. They're in opposite cases. I cut the front out of the AS15's case originally just so that I got a better video quality and it didn't fog up, and then I generally utilise that one for things where it was going to get wet. but that meant it didn't fog up and I had a better audio quality from the mics. I didn't necessarily need to use this one. But these are the old cameras that I used to use for quite some time under Mick's 4-wheel drive touring before doing the changeover. So I do still use them occasionally, but these days just not very often because the DJIs just do everything plus some. So that's the majority of my camera gear, guys. I do also have a couple of tripods. This little one here, I don't use this one all that often. I've got the big one that you just saw the camera on a minute ago, and then coming from that camera you can probably see a tiny little one here, which is just this tiny little thing, and this is the one that you'll see when I'm doing a hike hanging off the front of my bag. It weighs next to nothing, and it's a great little one for when I am doing hikes. It goes up to sort of yay high. It's not huge, but then I can screw the selfie stick on top and things like that too if I want to actually get a lot more height. So it's not a bad little tripod for what it is. It's cheap and it does the job quite well actually. So I think I paid 20 bucks on eBay for that one, so I'm actually really impressed with it. Now lastly in the way of camera accessories is this big damn thing. This is just all my attachments. See, a lot like the GoPros, even though the DJIs have their own magnetic clip-on mounts, those mounts still screw onto every other GoPro accessory out there. So it's basically what's in here. This is one I use quite often. You'll see when I've got it attached to the bull bar of the car, for example. I'll just Velcro this one around there and that films the job. As you can see, I've got the DJI's magnetic mounts there. That's the one I like to utilise when it's on the side of the car. That grabs on really well. So, close-up shot, that's the DJI mounts with a little screw-on one on top, so that'll screw on to basically anywhere. Then there's the little clip-on one, which that goes well on the bag, hat, a lot of different places as well. Or if I just want a really low shot, this is a really good one just to put down real low. Only gives me a couple of inches off the ground and then has the camera on there. So they're probably the main two that I use are these two. I've got another little tripod in there. I've got some suction cup mounts for the windscreen of the car. There is actually one in the car already. Some other clamp ones where I can hook them to my roof rack and things like that. So yeah, there's a bunch of different ones in there. And then I've got some spare bits and pieces up here and some more of the anti-fog things for when I'm using the waterproof case and stuff like that as well. So that's this thing. That doesn't come on every trip because it does get a bit of a pain in the ass and fills the bag up a lot for often stuff that I'm just not using. So, and then trying to pack it back up's a pain in the ass as well. Now the last thing I do want to quickly talk about is what do I do with all my footage when I'm doing a bigger trip? Well, as you saw in the pouch here, I've got a lot of memory cards in there. I generally don't use them, and to be honest, I generally don't have a problem with this. But when I do a larger trip, for example, when I did my 10-day birthday week at the start of the year, I took a laptop. So I've got this older HP laptop. I think it's a 2nd gen i5 or something like that, or an i3. It's nothing flash. It's got a 256 gig, I think, SSD in it. But it's not flash, but it boots up, it copies the footage off the cameras if I need it. It allows me to view the footage back and check them and see if I'm happy with everything and how things have turned out and stuff like that. So I'll utilise that. Truth be told, guys, this was being thrown out. There was a lady on Marketplace that was getting rid of a fridge that we picked up and got talking to her, and she was getting rid of a couple of old computers as well. So this is one of them. I've just refurbished it and made it my own now. So yeah, it's alright, it's nothing flash, but it does the job. And then I've got 2 portable SSDs, but I think that one's 128 gigs and I think that one is about 200. So if I don't want to store it on the actual laptop, I can just throw it straight onto these, and then I can copy them from here straight onto the computer at home when I get there. So yeah, that's basically how I store all my footage. And at the same time too, you know, they always say don't keep all your footage in one place, so it doesn't hurt to even take it off the camera, put it on here, or leave it on the camera, and at night still copy it onto one or both of these. It doesn't hurt, and that way you reduce your risk of actually losing that footage a hell of a lot. And then of course I've got the computer at home. Look, that's my beast. I love the thing. It is a couple of years old now. It's an Intel i5-10400. It's got 32 gig of RAM. I'm running a 3060 graphics card. I've got multiple hard drives in there for all my storage and stuff like that. Everything also gets backed up from there onto a 4-bay NAS at home. I've got two 24-inch 1080p monitors that I run on it, as you can see, and yeah, that's my basic setup. So that's all my camera gear, my filming gear, and what I do when it comes to where it goes to be edited and maintained and all that sort of thing as well. So yeah guys, that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you're a little bit shocked by anything or got any comments on the cameras or anything like that, please let me know in the comments below. If you've liked the video, please remember to leave a like, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Alright guys, Yan Mabujiri Murugu, walk a good path. Yano, goodbye.